CTV's Adrian Ghobrial is in London outside court this morning for us to start us off. Adrian, first set the scene for us. Who have you seen so far? And can you describe the feeling there, even outside the courthouse?
Yeah, well, it is a charged environment, Marcia, here outside the London, Ontario Superior Courthouse. There's supporters here of sexual assault survivor groups. There's protesters. There's individuals here supporting the players. With each player's arrival, there's chants, there's screams. So far, we've seen Dylan Dubé. He was the team captain of that 2018 World Junior Hockey team. He arrived, and his arrival was announced by those here in attendance as the screams and taunting began. Alex Fermenton also walked right through the line of protesters and, as I mentioned, some supporters. So, a really highly charged day. We had a long line of people out here just behind me earlier this morning, waiting to get into the courthouse, waiting to get into the courtroom and the overflow room as everyone awaits the verdicts today.
What's at stake here, Adrian? Because the decision, the judge's decision, goes beyond the fate of the players.
It does. It does in many ways. There are the players that we need to be mindful of. Some of them were professional hockey players at the time on million-dollar contracts, which are now null and void. Now, we can't forget the alleged victim here as we hear the chants behind me as well, as more players, I believe, start to begin to arrive this morning. We have an alleged victim here who claims she was sexually assaulted, who claims that she went through and endured a life-altering negative experience. And I'm joined by criminal lawyer Laura Ellis here this morning. And Laura, as we look ahead at this case and we look at the verdicts today, they really hinge on the interpretation and the legal interpretation of one word.
Yes, consent is the key here. That's sort of the overarching theme of this entire case, is whether there was consent on the day in question to all of the sexual activity that took place. And there's been a couple of other issues raised by the Crown and by EM regarding alcohol consumption and capacity to consent and fear or coercion. So those are things that can vitiate or invalidate the consent, and so those are all live issues at this trial as well.
Depending on the decision that Justice Maria Garcia delivers today, could we see the interpretation of consent redefined in Canada?
I think there's always the potential for that in a case that's this highly publicized in the media. This is also a really unique fact scenario of multiple people in the room at the same time, all being alleged sexually assaulting at the same time. So it's a unique fact pattern, and so findings that Justice Garcia makes today could certainly help clarify certain legal issues.
As we look at consent in the legal meaning, it needs to be continual. It can't be done after or before. We know that one of the accused, Michael McLeod, took a video of EM, the alleged victim, asked her if she was okay with what was taking place. She said yes. Is that consent?
So it can be, and it's going to come down to Justice Garcia's assessment of that video. So EM provided an alternate explanation for why she said what she said on that video, which was essentially a fear response, going along to get along, saying what she needed to say to get out of the room. So Justice Garcia is going to have to consider that answer and determine whether she accepts that or not.
Now, as we see supporters, protesters here today, we know there's been protesters here throughout parts of the trial. We've heard shocking testimony. We've seen evidence brought to the table that's been eye-opening, though that's not the only thing that's been shocking throughout this trial.
That's correct. There was one mistrial that ultimately resulted in a new jury being impaneled, and then that second jury ultimately was also discharged. So that is something that's very unique to this case. I've never seen it before, nor have I even heard of it before, of two juries being dismissed in the same case. It's a rare remedy. It's what's called a remedy of last resort. So it's only done in cases where nothing else could satisfy the court, but the trial could remain just.
Laura Ellis, criminal lawyer, thank you very much for joining us on CTV News Channel this morning. And Marcia, as you can hear again behind us, I'm sure our viewers at home can hear the echoes. We hear those supporters screaming they want justice. Well, one way or another, Justice Maria Garcia will deliver justice today. Whether it will be the justice that some are calling for this hour, we'll have to wait and see.
Adrian, those protesters that we very clearly hear behind you, are they reacting to the arrival of a player, or is this just a spontaneous outburst from the crowd?
As I'm taking a look right now, it appears that it's just a spontaneous outburst. People are driving by, so they're getting honked. So that's kind of eliciting their responses right now. Though I can tell you, as I shared earlier, that when each player arrives, they are yelling, they are screaming, and the protesters and some of the supporters who are here are very vocal. And so far, two of the players, by our count, have arrived through the front doors. We're waiting for Carter Hart, for Cal Foote, and so we will going going to wait and see how this plays out this morning. But again, Marcia, a charged atmosphere that we expect will continue throughout the day, and we're going to bring you the latest each and every hour.
Okay, Adrian, appreciate that. And I'm going to squeeze in one last question. Will you see all of the players arriving there at court, or is there a back door, a separate entrance that they can go to so they don't have to hear or see those crowds?
Good question. So throughout this trial, each of the 5 players mentioned have come through the front door. Now, there is a side door to the court, but that is an exit only. They should not be, anyone who is charged of a criminal offense has to enter through the front doors of this courthouse behind me. Anyone who would be going in through a back door or a side door would be getting preferential treatment. That is something I'm sure that the courthouse here wants to make sure does not happen. So we're expecting everyone to walk through this crowd this morning.
Okay, and we just saw a sign in support of EM, the alleged victim. Will she be there today, Adrian?
That is a great question. Unsure at this hour. We know that so far she has only been appearing. We can see there's people walking now behind me. And I'm just going to let you take this in here for a minute. We've got Michael McLeod walking through the front doors. You asked if the players are going to have to walk through. They're walking through the media right now. Supporters are behind us. And that is Michael McLeod, who has been charged with... That is Michael McLeod entering the courthouse. He's been charged with 1 count of sexual assault and 1 charge of being party to the offense for allegedly inviting everyone into that hotel room back in June of 2018. Marcia, just a small taste of what we're going through and experiencing here today outside the London, Ontario courthouse.
Yeah, as you say, supercharged. Okay, Adrian, please stay in close touch. Adrian is